Is the Acts of the Apostles, but we call it Acts for short.
Luke starts the book of Acts with the same scene that ended his gospel, Jesus saying goodbye to his disciples. But he tells them something interesting. He says they should stay in Jerusalem and wait for a gift that God the Father is going to give them, a gift that will help them spread the good news about Jesus throughout Judea and Samaria and to the ends of the earth.
Wow, what kind of gift would help them go that far? Was he going to give them hiking boots or maybe a sweater?
I don't think God the Father was going to give the disciples sweaters.
It can get chilly at the ends of the earth.
Sweaters are nice, Ian, but that's not what God had in mind.
Right. So all of Jesus' followers were together, kind of hiding away to try to keep out of trouble. And suddenly it sounded like a huge wind filled the house. And then something that looked like little tongues of fire came down on each one of them.
Did they catch on fire? Did they stop, drop, and roll?
Luke says it was like fire, not that it was fire. So no, they didn't catch on fire.
Writing some parts of the Bible was tricky because the authors were trying to describe things that no one had ever seen before. So when Mark says the Spirit came down on Jesus like a dove, or when Luke says the Spirit came down on Jesus' followers like tongues of fire, it wasn't a real dove, and their heads weren't really on fire. That's just the best way the authors could come up with to describe what people saw.
So what powers did they get? Did anyone start shooting web?
No web shooting. The first thing that happened was they all started speaking in different languages.
Well, that's pretty cool.
And it was very helpful. Because of the holiday, there were Jews in Jerusalem from all over the Roman Empire who spoke many different languages. 15 are mentioned in Acts. And suddenly, all these visitors heard Jesus' followers speaking to them in their own language.
Whoa, that must have gotten their attention.
It sure did. And once they had their attention, the Holy Spirit gave Peter the power to get up and speak an amazing message about who Jesus was.
Sake.
So now that they've got the power of the Holy Spirit behind them, they can spread the good news to Judea, Samaria, and the ends of the earth. How did they do that exactly? And which apostle had to walk all the way to the North Pole?
Well, how they did that is what the rest of the book of Acts is about. Now, Jesus didn't mean that this small group of followers had to cover the entire globe. He meant that this group needed to carry the good news about him throughout the entire world as they knew it, which at that time meant the entire Roman Empire. The places Jesus mentioned are like expanding circles going out from Jerusalem. First Judea, then Samaria, then the entire Roman Empire. The best way to spread a message throughout the Roman Empire would be to get to the capital of Rome itself. If the good news took root in Rome, it would spread quickly throughout the whole empire. And by the end of the book of Acts, this is exactly what they've done.
After Pentecost, Jesus' followers fearlessly spread the good news throughout Jerusalem and Judea, and they performed miracles, just like Jesus had done.